Hello and welcome back to another tutorials. In this tutorial we are going to start using neutral colors such as brown ochre 50%, which would be Caran luminous, and start drawing another nose version. In the previous tutorials we have learned how to draw nose and color them. However, this time we are going to learn how to do it with another pencil brands. So this time the outline we are going to start drawing would be with brown ochre 50%. I would advise you do not draw your outlines, the beginning outlines with HB pencil, because it will be really hard to get rid of them. So now let's just remember you do have all the outlines and also the grid version within your downloadable resources, and you can easily go to those resources and download them and start practicing. However, here we always start drawing it freehand style. So please, every time we do this, have your paper and pencil, color pencils ready. The color pencils that are similar to the ones we usually use, and start drawing the outlines. Now, slowly, we are going to complete the main outlines of the nose, and with the same color we are going to go through and shade the first layer. We need to differentiate which area is darker and which area is brighter actually, and go through the shading area now and determine where they should be placed. It is a very good color for layering, especially the first layer, brown ochre, because it's very bright. Also, it is an excellent color when it comes to burnishing, because you can replace it with white. Now after this, we are going to start using brown ochre because it has more color. Using this color to make for the darker area that we need to shade further in a more obvious way, I have to say, especially near the nostrils and also the dark parts. If we compare this nose with the previous nose that we have drawn and color, the format of the nose different as well. So we just sharpen our pencil and then continue going through the wings side. See how careful we are with the main outlines we are drawing. This would be the below part before going onto the skin. Slowly start shading the outlines because we don't want to have actually um, obvious outlines. We always fade those lines with different color pencils or even with the same color. So now looking onto the screen, you see which area should be dark. Always make sure you remember this formula and continue. And always the tip of the nose would be the highlight. This goes for most of the drawing parts. Now we are continuing. With our Caran burnt ochre to place all the colors where they should be and create more depth. Now here we are going to start using burnt sienna, a darker color, in order to darken the nostrils. Please practice and follow at the same time. Go around the lines, make sure they're done in a neat way, and you have paid attention where we are putting the dark parts. In the previous nose drawing tutorial, nose drawing and coloring, you saw that we use a little black for the nostrils part. So you can see it's not always like that. You can use like burnt sienna, or if you don't have it, a milder brown that are close to skin tone. Darkening the nose wings as well. We have put them and then go around the tip of the nose and goes towards the different areas with the same burnt sienna. After this, we need to start using burnt ochre. We are only going to use it for the areas that has more red pigments on it. So later on we're gonna change burnt ochre, since this has lots of red pigments on it and also red slash brown. We can use even brown ochre 50% instead of this one. Now using brown ochre 50%, as I mentioned, even though it's a very bright color, but because we have colored a much darker layer for the first few layers, after you apply a lighter color on them, they will become much darker actually. So that's a formula that you need to remember. We're gonna go around, fade the outlines, especially next to nose, the nose wings. Sometimes when you feel like you need to use erasers, that's okay. We can go around and fix or even create highlights with them. So it is good to have a normal eraser or pencil eraser. Even electric eraser is good to purchase them. Create the highlights that we needed on the nose side. The nose, the both side of the nose, on the nose wings, we have highlights without a doubt. So make sure you actually bear that in mind and always keep those highlights intact or create them afterwards. Later on, you can mix these two colors that I mentioned on the screen together. Perfect color tone for these areas. Going around the tip of the nose, this area, even in the previous lesson when we were doing the nose coloring, I mentioned this part always darker because it's towards down and it doesn't see the light, so this part always have shadows on it, so make sure it's the darkest part of the nose coloring. We continue going around. Now you should be familiar with the pencils. These are the notes that we are going to learn and you should be familiar. They all have the same technique and the highlights the same places. Later on we can use a darker color such as brown ochre or burnt ochre depending on the shadows. It's important how to mix the colors together. Look how many times I go onto the layers that we have colored before and add the layers onto them. Because this nose is much smaller than the previous one that we have drawn and colored. Make sure that your color pencils are sharper than the previous ones. Still mixing the same color tones, the color pencils with each other. On this paper, as you can see on the right side, we have drawn side profile. You will learn this later in later lessons. However, it's always good to know the facial features and then go onto them. So if you look at on the right side, you will see where are the highlights of the nose. Even though it's a side profile, we still have them exactly the same places we are having them on this one. Now we are going to start using brown ochre 50% to blend the previous colors that we have layered already. Continuing, we have done most of the coloring parts. I'm quite happy with it so far. We're just gonna add a few more layers and then we are done with it. You can see how easy it is. We didn't spend much time on a nose, maybe like between 10 to 15 minutes max. So you can do the same thing. Don't always do not have the excuse we don't have time for practice. It's not gonna take that much time. Even 15 minutes to 1 hour daily or every other day or even once a week would be sufficient for this course practice. So it's important to do this and go around and make sure you watch them and then practice afterwards. The last two colors we will use would be sepia 50% that we are using and then burnt ochre 10% to blend the final layer. Now we are almost done. We have few more facial features to go study, learn how to draw in a freehand style and color them, learn all about how to mix different colors with each other, and then we are going to start learn how to draw portrait again in a freestyle hand, and you do have their outlines ready for you to download. But now this is almost the end part of this tutorial, so I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. And we are almost done with it. It's just mixing few more colors and that's it. So I hope again you enjoyed it. Please do practice and send me your assignments, and for now, bye bye.